But I've heard that there's some really juicy scenes in it.
Juicy. It is spicy.
See, I know. That's why everyone's like, you need to watch it. So,
yeah. I used to have the biggest crush on Jim Parsons. Do you know the guy from Big Bang Theory? And he's gay too. And I'm like, I was so devastated when I found out that he was gay.
Because,
as if that's the only thing.
You would
I would date him. Here we are, just thinking like we need to be adding valuable
look at us with
content
our
to these
morals.
podcasts.
I know, with all our morals and and these people just make like 5 times the amount of money by just cheating on their partners, his value and your love depends on an engagement ring, and that it should financially burden him. What did you say? Or collapse him? Or what did you say? Something?
Yeah, financially hurt
him. Like, are you joking?
Let's imagine if you were single, okay, and
where is this going? Keep going. Respecting the traditional custodians, we acknowledge the Turrbal and Kaurna peoples as the original inhabitants of the lands now known as Brisbane and Adelaide. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and recognize their enduring connection to the land, waters and culture. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Down Under. I think this is episode 19, which is crazy.
I know.
So I can't believe it. But yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Shonali. I'm joining from Brisbane, and I've got my beautiful, very snuggly bunny looking co-host Desh joining us from Adelaide. Hi Desh.
Yes, hi guys, I'm Dashani joining from Adelaide, South Australia, and yes, it's freezing in Adelaide, so I'm in my hoodie. It's quite warm now, but yeah.
I can't relate to that.
No. What's the temperature like? What's the weather like?
It was actually quite hot today, but it's raining now, so I think that's why it was. But today's like, winter. Winter started, but it's not, it doesn't feel like it at all. But I think next week it's going to drop down to like 12 degrees in the night, so maybe it's going to start getting a little cooler, but yeah, I'm ready for it.
But what's it like during the day? What's the temperature
it's like? 23, 24. Yeah.
In winter?
Yes, in winter. The maximum will probably be like 26 maybe. Yeah, 26, 27. Yeah.
What's the coldest it's going to get?
Coldest I've experienced in the last like 9 years of being here is about 5 degrees in the night. And that's like the coldest I've ever experienced.
Coldest during the day?
Oh, maybe like 18 degrees.
Okay, that's actually nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It's really comfortable. Yeah. So it is the best season, like definitely the best season of the year.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
So I'm ready for it.
It's freezing here. I hate it. Like, I don't mind just the cold. I hate it when it rains and it's like all wet.
Yeah.
And gloomy and But it's freezing on site. I remember one time I woke up and then obviously my room is like 23 degrees all the time.
Yeah.
But I went outside my room and it was like 5 degrees. I was like, this is cold.
Gosh, yeah. It just makes waking up so much harder, right? And like doing anything productive.
But as a positive though, like it's good for working out.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah. So I think for me as well, like struggling, like waking up at 4:30 is a struggle, but once I get there and I'm actually doing it, like it's good. It's better than summer because I'm not like dying, so.
Yeah, and it's nice. A better experience. But better experience because you're sweating. But it's not like you're not going to be sticky and disgusting. And it's like, yeah, I do enjoy working out in the winter.
Little positives,
yeah. How's your week been?
I asked you first. I knew the question was coming. I knew it. I was like, I'm going to get it in first.
My week was good. It was busy because I had the final commissioning stuff in my project, but the pump is running. My baby's performing very smoothly and as intended. So I'm just like, we have a SCADA system where we can check how it's operating, and then we can plot and see how she's performed. How the pumps performed. But
I like that she's a female. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know, she's a queen.
Queen, okay.
Yeah. But no, it's been good, so that's positives. And but yeah. So that was good. And then what have I been doing? Oh yeah, I started watching Bridgerton. Have you watched Bridgerton?
I haven't, but so many people have told me I need to get into it, and they think that I will like it. But I don't know. I feel like I think I watched like the first 5 minutes of one episode, and I just couldn't get into it. I'm just not really about that whole period drama kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've heard that there's some really juicy scenes in it.
Juicy. It is spicy.
See, I know, that's why everyone's like, you need to watch it. So yeah.
It's I think the first season itself is probably the juiciest and the spiciest, I feel. I think so, because I feel like I was quite shocked by it, because you're not used to seeing that. Because I think, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I really do think that you would enjoy it, because it's very nice. It's like there's not a lot of there's a lot of female protagonists, which I really love. And I think that's why I think you might also enjoy it, because there's a lot of that. But there's also really lovely characters and some really nice character traits of those characters. But there's but for those who don't know about that, is that the Bridgerton is a family. And the story is so it's based on a book. And then the books, there's a few books. So there's 8 siblings, Bridgerton siblings, and each book highlights one sibling and their sort of story. I feel like from what I've seen so far, I haven't read the books, but from what I've seen so far, it's about how from what I've seen so far, it's been how each sibling finds love and their story in a social setting and things like that.
Okay.
But the first one, I feel like the first out of I guess 3 stories now, first one would be my least favorite. I feel like, because do you know the actress who's in Bridgerton 1?
So wait, let me just get this correct. Is one book based on one season, or one episode is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there'll be 8 seasons then.
Well, I think so. Well, there's they did an extra season called Queen Charlotte's story, which is the Queen's story in the Bridgerton, well, sort of Regency sort of era, and the Queen's black, and that her story is my favorite out of all seasons that's come out so far. That story is the most. I guess I'm not much of a romance type of person. Like I don't enjoy that much, but that story, the dialogues, that's so good, because in that story the Queen is such a badass and she's like such a strong person. The King not so much, but she's like, you don't have to worry because I'm here. I will take care of you. And then I'm like, she's a queen. I love it.
I love it. Queen.
I know. It's like she's so powerful and she's so confident and she stands her ground, and I love it. So I love her story the most, but I think you really should watch it, at least for some of the scenes I don't know how they got away with doing them, really? Because I'm like, oh my Lord.
So is there like nudity or?
There is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Which, not in a, some scenes I don't necessarily agree with, but some, I guess, they're just there to, and I think they're just trying to show the the society at that you know,
time.
in such eras. And I think I'm pretty sure those kind of things existed, but even the dialogues, even the way they speak, it's just, it's so hysterical sometimes to think how the story unfolds. But I think you would like it. And then this new season that came out last week or so, I think they've only released like 4 episodes, and then they're releasing the remaining 4 episodes I think next week or the week after. But oh my god, that is very spicy. And I'm like, oh, and it's just, you almost feel bad for watching it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be seeing this. It's just
Should I close
weird.
my eyes?
Yeah, I don't know. This is too rated for me.
Okay.
But yeah, but that's like MJ's like, ooh, she just like MJ likes ooh. But yeah,
MJ's
he really
like, she approves me watching this.
But there's this so one of the second season's based on Anthony Bridgerton, and he falls in love with the Indian girl. So I don't know, have you seen Simone? No, not, I can't remember her name, but have you seen Sex Education? No.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Oh, so you know the Indian girl? In
Yeah.
that
Oh,
story?
okay. So she's in that. Oh, okay.
She's in there. She's one of the main female lead in that story. And
That's pretty
MJ
cool.
loves her, so that's why I think, yeah. And Anthony Bridgerton, and I can't remember the girl's name, obviously, but those two together, they're like so good. Like, it's a shame, and he looks great. Like, it's a shame. It's not I guess not a shame, but every like good-looking guy that I'm like, oh, I find him so attractive, and he's gay.
Is he?
He is. I know.
Who's the actor?
Oh, I can't remember his name now. I only know him as Anthony Bridgerton because, I call him Anthony.
If I had my phone with me, I could have Googled it.
Yeah, but he's so good. And did you also know, that reminds me, I used to have the biggest crush on Jim Parsons. Do you know the guy from Big Bang Theory? And he's gay too. And I'm like, I was so devastated when I found out that he was gay.
Because,
As if
otherwise
that's
you
the
would
only
be... You would
Otherwise,
be with him right now.
I would date him. That's the only thing that's stopping me from dating him.
Exactly, like, of course, duh.
Yeah, I know. Only if he wasn't gay. But
I think maybe sometimes, like, I think, like, I completely relate to you because there have been a few actors who I'm just like, goo goo gaga over, and they turn out to be gay. And I think maybe it's like they've got a little bit of like feminine qualities that we actually like, and that we see it as a positive. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I actually, now that you told me that, I think maybe, maybe that's why we're like, oh, he's sensitive, he's got the right qualities.
Exactly. Because you and I both obviously don't like that whole, macho. A-type man, right? Like we like, the more like sensitive one. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, then you have to watch it.
Okay, I will. Once reporting season is over, everything's done, I will watch it. And you're like the 100% tell me, so.
Yeah, you have to.
I will, yes.
But any other shows that you watched?
I think you would be really proud of me. I watched a movie and also I watched a show. So at the start of the week, Ryan wanted to watch a movie. And like he and I, our tastes in movies are so different, right? Like he likes movies that are kind of just on screen. He doesn't have to think about it. He just watches for entertainment, Whereas I'm more like give me like the thrillers, the mysteries, the scary stuff, like that sort of. So we always, like every time we try to decide to watch a movie, it's like we have to take turns because when it's his movies, I'm so bored out of my mind. And when it's mine, like, he's just, like, not into it at all. So anyway, like, it was my turn that day. And we watched No Exit. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a thriller.
Okay, no, I haven't seen it. Yes. But I feel like it's, the name is familiar.
Yeah, so it's about a girl who gets out of, like, rehab. And she tries to drive to see her mum who is in hospital. And she goes through a snowstorm. And then her car, like because it's a snowstorm, she can't go any further. So she's forced to go to like a tourist, like a visitor center, and like camp out in the night with like a few people in there. And then when she's like, yeah, so it's like really, like there's like 5 people there, and like 2, like one guy's really creepy and one guy's like really cute, and then there's a couple. So anyway, she goes to like take a, like I'm probably giving it away, but anyway, she goes to take a phone call, trying to call her mum or her sister into the snow, and then she hears this little girl screaming and crying, and then she realizes that there's a girl who is like bound up and gagged in a car. And then she looks in and she's like, I'm going to save you, don't worry. And then obviously she assumes it's like this creepy guy. Like he's the guy who has this, like abducted this girl. And then it just turns into like this crazy, like really unexpected thing that, like, I don't want to give it away. But yeah, so anyway, it's not who you think it is. And it's, yeah.
But I want to know now.
No, but then I'm going to give away the whole thing. Are you going to watch it though?
Okay. Is it on Netflix?
It's actually on, I think it was on Stan or Binge.
Oh, okay.
Like not on Netflix. It was not on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty, like it's good. Like my standards for thrillers are quite high because like that's all I consume. So I think I would give it like maybe a 7 out of 10, but it was good. Like it was a bit of a unexpected shock. And today I started watching, like this is literally like this week, like last week and next week are 2 of probably the busiest times for me. So obviously to avoid that, you know, I'm just watching, like I never watch TV, but to procrastinate on that, on everything I'm supposed to do.
But this week's the way. This week's the right time to do it.
Exactly. So this week I have decided that I'm going to watch all the TV I can possibly watch just to avoid everything. But you know what
though? I feel like I remember even when like at uni, like when we had like assignments due or like the finals week, that's when I would find the shows to watch, and that's when I can't stop watching.
So it's not my fault. It's just that they keep putting really good shows up, right? So all these people these Netflix people put really good shows, and then I have to watch it, you know, like I have to.
But that's the thing, you know that you can watch it anytime.
I know.
Right, but you were like, this is the time to do it. I want to do it now when I have 1,000 other things to do.
So that's what I was
doing. That
we
need to do.
Yeah, I had my laptop. I was playing the show and then I was doing my work on my work laptop. So I was kind of multitasking, you know. But anyway, so the show I started watching today is Ashley Madison. And it's a new series on Netflix, and it's like taking the internet by storm at the moment. So basically it's like a website that was a few years ago. It was like they had a massive information breach, but it's a website that encourages married people to cheat, like to have an affair. So that I know, right? So
how is that legal?
Well, it's not illegal, right? Like cheating is not illegal. It's just morally wrong. So
but that makes me actually, I spoke to one of MJ's like work friends today. We had badminton today, and he's Indian, and he told me like in India it was illegal to so if you were married and you were cheating on your partner and you were living with someone else, apparently that was illegal. You could go to jail for that, really? Apparently. Okay. But now, like just this week, they've they cancelled that, so they've changed it, so now it's not illegal anymore. But then it makes me also think, how is that? I feel like that's just not like, you know, that law is just not very solid, you know. You can't, how are you gonna justify, or how are you gonna find evidence to say like, oh, this person cheated, and what counts as cheating?
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I feel like, that's why it's not illegal, because I was thinking the same thing. And it's funny you mentioned India, because like they were talking about, so they went on this huge like marketing campaign in all these countries, and they actually went to India to do, and it's funny because India is such a cultural like country, you know, and apparently the slogan that they used in India was your parents found your arranged marriage, or parents did your arranged marriage, let us arrange your affair. So,
Oh,
so
wow.
I know. And apparently they've gone to like countries like Turkey, like Muslim countries, and Philippines where
Yeah.
divorce is apparently illegal. I didn't know that. So,
Oh.
yeah. So, and then, oh my
What?
God. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. So, there's this,
Therapy must be booming.
oh, for
Philippines.
sure. True. There's this couple on Instagram called Sam and Nia. I don't know if you've heard of them. Probably
Okay.
not.
Oh.
They're an American couple, like a
Oh, okay.
Christian couple, you know.
Okay.
So they were caught up in the scandal because this guy, like at the start of this whole thing, he signed up to it, and he's like at a moral high ground where he's like, you know, God is everything, my wife is everything, blah blah blah, marriage, all this kind of, you
Okay.
know, like, you know, I'm superior to everyone kind of thing. And then like
Okay.
he was on that website, he didn't tell his wife until there was a massive breach of like a data leak. So really famous people like Joe Biden's son was caught up in the scam. Apparently he had an account, and some other celebrities that I didn't really know about. And Sandra Bullock's ex was said to be involved in that, all that. Anyway, this guy's name was leaked as well. And until his name was leaked, he didn't say anything to his wife. He just waited. And then they were at like this vlogger conference when his name was leaked. And then he had to tell her. But then he basically just said, oh, I just opened a profile. I didn't do anything. And he just kept that on.
Classic.
So she forgave him because she was like so in denial. She forgave him all that. And then a few days later, it came out that he actually had multiple affairs. He was like going to, you know, strip clubs. All that came out.
Oh.
And they're still together, dude. Like she forgave. I know. And you should read the comments on their profile on it. I feel like this is all like a publicity thing. I feel like,
Yeah.
because they were literally having like a countdown until this documentary was released, and I'm like, how embarrassing that you have to have a countdown to like your husband is getting exposed as a cheater. And you are like having this big, so it's just all like, you know, in the name of fame. And they wrote a book. They wrote a book about
Oh my god.
overcoming like cheating scandals, and it's called like something to do with the truth. So very ironic.
So how is it a scandal if it's the truth? Like if he actually did. So they're just saying that he didn't actually cheat?
No. That he didn't tell her. He didn't tell her.
Okay.
And then he only admitted it like later. And then he cries.
He did admit it.
Yeah, he admitted it, but he only admitted it because his brother and the pastor, like he spoke to the pastor and was like, should I tell her? Like, should I be honest? And the pastor was like, yeah, you should be honest. And then he admitted it to the wife, right? So he tries to be like this. I'm like, you know, so like I'm such a good guy. I admitted, I told my wife everything. She forgave me, like God forgives us, all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, just stop. Like, just stop with your, like, I feel like, right? Like, yes, okay, people make mistakes, whatever. I feel like if I was in that position, I would have been like, you deserve way better. And I'm leaving, like, because you don't deserve to be with a person like me. So I'm going to take myself out, you know. But he is just like, she forgave me. This is what marriage is. And I'm just like, man, like, so anyway.
He doesn't, honestly, I feel like I've seen a lot of people do that. Like they cheat and then they're like, oh, or like the person who didn't cheat is like, oh, you know, and they glorify their partner for forgiving them.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you shouldn't be allowed to open your mouth.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
100%.
I'm like, how dare you even speak?
Yeah,
like, just
exactly.
Shush.
Like you have nothing to do with this, you know, like.
But I think that's just the lowest you can go.
100%.
Like, I don't know. I know some people do it and some people have successfully moved on from such. I don't personally see how you can.
It's not something I could ever do, definitely. But you know the other like super cringy thing that this guy did? Like, so they have 2 kids and then they were like trying for a third or whatever. So he wanted to be like the first male to tell the wife that she was pregnant, right? So he literally took pee water from the toilet.
Oh.
I know, dude. And then he did the test and like he recorded it. And then like, and I was like, some things are just not meant to be on the internet. Like he literally took a drop dropper in the toilet, and he like put it, and I was like,
so he just makes sure every time his wife goes to the top. What?
I was like, first of all, why didn't you flush? Second of all,
yes,
why are you waiting to go into the toilet? Like, let her tell you. So this is the thing, like what people do for like attention or like media, because apparently that video blew up, and that's how they became really, really famous. Like they won all these talk shows. That's like their full-time job. They started making all this money and all that. But like, how
that is
low?
Just, I think he must have been dropped as a child. That's the only way to justify this behavior.
Honestly,
he's a little cuckoo in the head. I has to be.
Like,
that's just
stop
bullshit.
like using religion and God and all this, like being on a moral high ground, like, you know, I'm so much better than any of you people, like I've got God, I'm just so much better, and then you have all this like skeletons in the closet that you are not even like talking about until you just get exposed, you know, like you are not a good person, so like don't pretend like you are.
God. Wow. So wait, who created this so this
it's
platform?
like this guy, like it's like Noel something. Anyway, he was a million. Like they were making, so that's the other. So I was just watching that before you called me. So that episode, he and his wife, like he's married, and he says, you know, yeah, he's like, I'm very monogamous. Like I'm in a monogamous relationship. I believe in being married. I've never cheated on my wife. We have a very open a very like open communication. All that blah blah blah. And then he's used her as like the face of Ashley Madison, like she's on all these campaigns and stuff, and then after that he got exposed that he was actually cheating, like all his emails were leaked, and in that he's basically writing to all these escorts asking them, you know, to come. So it's just all like it was a website created for men to just be like just cheat, just openly just cheat, and then he was trying to hide that he was not like that, but then he turned out to be exactly like that. But then he was trying to, like, you know, save his company because they were making millions. Like, they were a massive company.
Wow. I mean, I would have imagined. But, so Ashley Madison is the guy who created this?
No.
So the wife of the person
The name of the website is Ashley Madison. So, yeah, because apparently Ashley and Madison were two of the most common names of the women who were coming on that website, so that's why they like put it together.
What?
Yeah.
But how did they decide the name prior to, like, how did they get the data before selecting the name then?
I have no idea. That's a great question. Yeah. But it's like, you know, when you watch it, you can tell it's like those early 2000s websites, you know, with those random ads like popping out everywhere. And like those big emojis or GIFs or I don't know, whatever those, you know, the really old school ones.
Maybe it's from this. You know how when you're watching stuff from an illegal website, like, you know, like
I don't do that. Do you do that?
Because some of the K-dramas, you don't have them on Netflix. And then there's these websites that I used to watch K-dramas, and this, oh my God, these ads keep popping up. Oh, Ashley's like 5 kilometers away from you, Dashani. Do you want to meet her? I'm like, no, let me watch my Korean man. Let me just keep watching my Korean dudes, all right? Just I don't want to see Ashley. I don't want to meet with her.
I don't want to socialize.
It's creepy. And I still get these ads when I'm in Roxby, and I'm like, there's no way Ashley's 5 kilometers away from here because it's a bloody desert. Oh my God,
so
it's
yeah,
just crazy.
Maybe
it's from Ash. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, maybe it's from. Yeah.
So you should watch it. It's really like, it's like total like karma, you know, like how they were just exposed because the owner, like the main guy, he was like fully trying to justify the website, being like, life is short, you know, you need to have like all these exciting things happen, blah blah blah. Anyway, he was just like trying to justify it, and everyone who they interviewed was like trying to justify it, and you know, because obviously they were making so much money. And then how it just blew up, like overnight, how everything just blew up, you know. So it was absolute karma, but it's so entertaining to watch it. Like I was just laughing at like this guy, this couple, Sam and Nia, and I was like, surely they're not together anymore. And then I checked on Instagram, and they still have a profile together.
Oh my God!
And I was like, you wrote a book. You've got 3 children. Imagine when those kids grow up, they're gonna read this book and be like, what? Like, what were my
I
parents doing,
know.
you know?
Oh, that's gonna be so embarrassing.
Exactly.
Honestly, I just thought like this is proof that you can make absolute trash and earn money.
100%. That's what
So
it
we
is.
should not give up.
That's what it is, dude. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I slaving myself away at work every day when I could just just do something like this?
I know. I mean, here we are, just thinking like we need to be adding valuable
look at us with
content
our
to these
morals.
podcasts.
I know, with all our morals, and and these people just make like 5 times the amount of money by just cheating on their partners,
We're too nice. We're too good for our own.
We are too good for this world, Ash. Too good.
I know. Too pure.
Yes, so
that was very fun.
I know, right? So I like I said, it's been a week for me to just find distractions beyond distractions. So I actually found another podcast that I decided to binge on.
So you did everything beside the actual thing you needed to do.
Exactly correct. But yeah, it's called Heart Starts Pounding. So it's a true crime podcast.
Okay.
And it just came up on my Instagram actually. So because obviously, like I said, that's a lot of the content that I consume. And this girl basically talks about like stalking, like stalkers and stalking. And, Baby Randy, I don't know if you watched it yet. I remember.
I think we briefly spoke about it. I haven't watched it yet.
Me neither. So, I mean, to be honest, I didn't really have any interest in watching it until this episode. She spoke about it. So, it's based on a true story. It's based on, like, a woman stalking this man, the main character. And that main character, the guy who plays the main character, he's the director of the show who and the story is based on him, right?
So this is Baby Randia?
Baby Randia, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I saw some posts about how traumatizing it must have been for the actual person to come and, direct this or whatever. I've seen.
So that's the thing, right? So anyway, this podcast was talking about it because at the moment there's like an actual event happening in Venezuela. Where there's a woman called Rebecca Garcia who is actually stalking other women, and it's so scary, dude. Like, you should watch. Like, there are some episodes. She's like she's a lunatic. Like, she's full on like standing outside their doors, like watching them, and then she's like writing their names with chalk all over the road. She's jumping.
What does she do with it though? She just watches.
She gets obsessed with certain women, and then she just stalks them. She and her brother, like mainly her, but her brother is also involved in it. What? Yeah, so she stalks them until like a couple of women had to move countries because that's how bad it got. And there's this one video of her like jumping onto this girl's car in a car park in the middle of the night. Okay. And it's so scary. Like, her eyes are like, because someone caught it on camera, and her eyes are like blazing yellow, and she's just like staring like maniacally into, oh my God, it's so scary. Like, you should see it.
So what does she say or do anything?
So anyway, when this girl who conducts the podcast had asked for stories, a few women had written about this girl. So then she did like some research into it. And one of the girls who was going through this had said like, this woman approached her in a club and was like, oh, hi, Fiona, do you remember me? And then this girl kind of felt embarrassed because she didn't remember her. So she pretended to know her. And and then she went back to her friends, and then this woman just, like Rebecca, kept following her. And from that day onwards, she was just like stalking her and being like, I'm not going to kill you yet. And like just really creepy, like really creepy things like that, right? But then when she went to the police, she was told that because it's a woman, there is no law against women stalking women. And there's nothing that they can do. I know. That's why this whole story. And then she referred back to Baby Reindeer because obviously Baby Reindeer was a woman who was stalking a man. And then the police in Venezuela had told this girl, oh, she's really cute. Like, why don't you give her our number and then she can stalk us? Like, really absurd things like that,
Yeah.
And I was just thinking,
I was gonna ask
Yeah.
because what if like why can't someone get a restraining order or something?
That's the thing. So there is no law
Yeah.
apparently in Venezuela against women stalking women.
So you can't get a restraining order
against
a
women
woman.
stalking either men or
Oh,
women.
wow, that's pretty.
Isn't that crazy? Like
What?
that's so sexist,
That's
I
scary.
feel like, because
Yeah.
like I feel like from obviously all the stories I've listened to and watched, like women can be as dangerous, if not more, than men in a
Yeah.
lot of circumstances. And you tend
Yeah.
to look at women like the safer, because obviously when you look
Yeah.
at statistics, it's like women have
Yeah.
less, I guess. But then that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
they are,
I mean,
saints.
look, that doesn't mean that they're immune from having mental health
Exactly.
issues.
Because
and,
there have been so many instances where hitchhikers have got into a car because there was a woman in the car, or like the woman was a driver, and then they've been killed or abducted or whatever. Because you
Yeah.
tend to look at a woman as a safer option. And I was actually thinking, like, I went on a full blown, like, thing where I was like thinking about back in the day, my mom would like
Yeah.
really drill into our heads, like my brothers and I, like, you need to be really careful from men. Like if you see a man trying to approach you,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the boys in your school, like it was always men, like be careful of the men, be careful, like because no one ever thought that women were capable of doing things like
Yeah.
that. But then the truth
And
is
even
they are.
I think, yeah, and I think even like you teach you teach children, like if you feel like there's if you don't know
Feel
anyone
unsafe,
around you,
yeah.
go be with a woman.
Yeah.
Go be with a lady.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
instructions
yeah.
given, right? That's the safest option.
Yeah.
Which I think, while it can most of the time be true, but that's not always
No,
true.
it's not. Yeah.
Wow. That's I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's very weird.
I
and
know.
that's-
And I feel
that's
like a lot
very,
of
not
people,
wrong.
like women, use that kind of stereotype to kind of for their advantage, and then they
Yeah,
trick
yeah.
people into doing all the getting, like stealing, robbing, whatever, like the dirty
Yeah.
work done. And I mean, people use kids these days to do things like that,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
what makes you think that women are not going to be used for those things?
And that's a lot of the times that's also the main thing that they get away with being in terms of domestic abuse. Like women can still be abuses.
100%.
And that's why I think a lot of the times they get away with it, because no one
Absolutely.
actually believes that a woman can be abusive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so this, I feel like, is for those people who like may think that we are like man hating, or we are always
Oh.
taking the woman's side. Like it's not the case, like this.
Yes, it's not.
This episode should tell you that
Yeah.
we are not like feminists. That's
No.
not what feminism is. Like
yeah.
we want
Of
equality, equity, and we will take the side of the person who is right. It's nothing to do with
Yeah,
gender.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But wow, and I wonder if it's just in Venezuela or that's the case everywhere. I'm like keen to
I'd be
find out
really
now.
interested to know, and I think I would really be interested to know what the stalking laws are in Sri Lanka. In
I'm not
general,
sure. I'm sure
yeah,
there's nothing.
exactly,
Yeah.
because we are so
I mean, I know
backward
you
as a
can-
country.
Yeah, I know you can get restraining orders
Mm.
against obviously men, but now that I think about it, I don't know if I've ever heard of someone getting a restraining order against a woman. I never thought that gender had anything to do with it, really.
Exactly,
actually.
you'd think, right? You'd think that it
Yeah.
wouldn't, but
Wow.
apparently, yeah. So,
Interesting to
if
know
anyone
that.
knows what the laws are, like let us know. We'd really be interested in knowing
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And maybe you don't want to publicize it this much in case there are any women out there that's wanting to be stalkers and they're like, this is my chance. Oh my god, that's scary.
It's a scary world, man. It's a
Wow.
scary world out there.
Oh my
For sure.
god. Yeah, well, that was very interesting. I thought I'd also ask you, because this is something I saw a lot of content related to this particular topic that I'm going to talk about now on my TikTok, and there's a lot of opinions and a lot of deviations from this as well, where a lot of women have different opinions about this as well, which I thought was very interesting. So I thought I'd ask you. So imagine, obviously, now that you're married and you're settled down, obviously this is not the case now, but let's imagine if you were single, okay? And
Where
you
is this
were to
going? Keep going.
Yeah. Okay, let's say you were single and a guy asks you out and then you go on a date. You obviously get ready, you know, you you put on a little nice, I don't know what your dating outfit usually looks like, but let's say you put on a little makeup, you're feeling it, and then you go out to dinner, you go to a restaurant, and then what are your thoughts on, so who do you think should pay on a first date?
Well, I mean, I guess, like, obviously, because I'm married, it doesn't apply anymore, but if I go back to the first date that Ryan and I had, like, I insisted on splitting the bill. Like, I was like, and he was like, no, I was like, excuse me, no. Not happening.
Absolutely not.
No, like, and I was obviously like much younger, but even then, back then, I was like very much about.
But did you know
feisty.
Ryan, as in well before that were you comfortable with doing that, or would you have done it if you had not known the person?
I think I would absolutely insist on paying. Yeah, because I have this thing. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is and why I'm like that, but I feel very guilty about kind of if someone pays for me for anything, like even a gift, like if someone gives me a gift, like for my birthday, I feel so guilty, and like I don't know why it is, I don't know what it is. I'm just like really like, even if Ryan gives me a gift, I'm just like, oh, I need to like pay you back somehow. I need to do something.
I know
extra.
that I do agree with you.
Okay,
I feel that like if like it's something I like, even if like someone at work, it's not a dating environment, let's just get rid of that. Even if someone at work like buys me a coffee,
100%.
I'm just like,
I'm
this
the
is
same.
like, I feel like I owe you something.
I'm the same, dude. I'm the same. Like, even if someone makes, so my teacher buddy, like, she loves to cook. So she sometimes like bakes things and brings me, or she cooks something, and until I give it back to her, like, I'm just very restless. And I don't know, maybe I get it from my mom, I'm not sure, but like, I just have this
maybe
like
it's a cultural thing.
Maybe like it's like a real feeling of guilt that I have, and like even birthday gifts, if someone gives me, until their birthday, I'm like waiting till I can give them a gift. That's like better than the gift like they pay me, like that they give me. And it's not like I'm trying to up them or anything. It's just me trying to be like, I'm so grateful that you did that for me.
Yeah.
So I want to repay that. Exactly. So I feel like if I were to go like on a date and someone were to pay for me fully, I would feel so guilty that I just would be like, okay, fine, you want to take care, like, fine, then I'm going to do dessert, or like I'm going to do breakfast.
Same,
or like we're going to even this out somehow, it's not going to be like, so I'm glad that you're like that, because I thought I was the only one.
No, I was like quite shocked to see. I see a lot of girls saying, oh, they asked me on a date, so they should be
I've
paying.
heard that too.
And also like it's like absolutely no brainer that a man should be the one to pay on a first date. And I'm like, I just don't, there's no, and just because it is what it is, and it is how it should be, and it is what it has always been, and I'm like, but I guess that would make sense back in the day when women were allowed to work and earn money, but now that
it's different.
You have,
like, if you're going to apply that theory, like, oh, it's always been like that, then it should everything, it should apply to everything else, right? Everything else should, but it's not. So you can't really apply that theory.
And some of them fully justify that the money he earns is like our money, and the money I earn is like my money. And I'm like, what's how is this logical?
No,
I don't understand this.
Yeah,
but there's like a few, like a whole conundrum, and the other thing that pains me is that, the engagement ring should financially hurt the man.
I saw that girl talking about it.
God.
But I'm glad that a few people had like done stitches for it and like fully like dissed her, which I'm like, like, how does your...
I can't even begin.
I'm speechless. Like, how does your brain work that you think that the engagement, like his value and your love depends on an engagement ring, and that it should financially burden him? What did she say? Or collapse him? Or what did she say? Something...
Yeah, financially hurt
him. Like, are you joking?
Because I think her reasoning behind is how when she explained it is because, well, I guess in their sort of dating culture, no one dates them with the intention of marrying. Like, you can date someone without having the intention of marrying that person. So that's what dating is about, right? So you're trying to get to know this person in a romantic relationship and then decide, maybe, is this the potential partner? And then they wouldn't be serious about it unless they make a financial commitment to it, which has nothing to do with it.
No, it has nothing to do... Like, if that was the case, I think if you really want to know if a man is serious about it, I feel like there's so many other things, like, you know, discussing your future, like planning to buy a house, like so many things of value.
Yeah, and then you're just saying you can't trust anything that a man says unless he spends a significant amount of money on you.
Yeah.
So that's what she's saying, right? You could be potentially talking to someone and discussing your future together, planning your future together, but that has no meaning unless he puts a good amount of money on it.
Yeah.
You know, that's essentially what that means.
So basically you're fine with this man going into debt potentially. Like, obviously not everyone's able to afford a ring like that. You're fine with him, your relationship or your marriage starting out with him being in debt.
Yeah.
So that as long as you get your ring.
I guess back in the day, I was quite shocked when, like, my previous workplace, like, a lot of the ladies there were also talking about this, how, I don't know if this is what the tradition was, but the engagement ring should the price of the engagement ring should be 3 months' salary of that person.
What?
And I'm like,
I've never heard that.
I was telling MJ, I was like, you buy me that ring, it's going straight into the bank.
Yeah.
I'm reselling that.
100%.
I'm selling that for a house.
Absolutely. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I appreciate
ridiculous.
I appreciate the gesture, but we're returning that.
My mom would kill me if she knew the price of that. You bought a ring for this? I'm like, you could have got, that would have been a house deposit.
No, but also, like, for me, I feel like, maybe because I'm like a clumsy person, like, I would feel so much pressure, like, having that on my finger. You know, I've actually...
have to insure it?
Yeah, I've actually seen websites of, like, these ads come up on my Instagram where there are websites that do fake engagement rings or wedding rings.
Oh, yeah.
So that they can take it on holiday, right? And then they can keep it safe. And I'm just like, but what's the point? Like, you know, like, you buy a fake ring to... like, hide, like, keep the other one safe, and it just makes no sense.
Ridiculous.
Like, each to their own, but
I mean,
makes
look,
no sense.
if you know, if you have all the money in the world, and if that's something in your financial stage, that is something you can do, by all means. But just to expect that from someone,
like, it shouldn't signify anything. It shouldn't, like, a person's, like, material things that they get you shouldn't signify anything.
Exactly. And a man gets nothing. That just has bothered me a lot.
I know.
You know, I'm like, what? So he doesn't get a ring?
Yeah, like, I agree.
I know. That's a bit, it should be, I don't know. I feel like that defeats the purpose of the actual bond that you're going to build.
100%. And like, what's actually important, you know?
Exactly. It's very ridiculous, and I can't. But then I do agree with the fake rings where, you know, someone as clumsy as myself, I think,
definitely.
I mean, look, a ring is obviously gonna be somewhat of a, you know, it's gonna be an expensive
and valuable.
You know, it's jewelry. It's gonna be valuable. But I do like the idea of having like a fake thing that, you know, for people like ourselves who are very clumsy.
Yeah.
But that's been very ridiculous.
I didn't realize it's
and I've been shocked actually.
Yeah, I didn't realize
sort
it's
of
being...
things.
But I'm sure there are people, like obviously you and I have, like, we have a very strong standpoint on that. I feel like there are people on the other end as well. And if there are people like listening, like we would love to hear your argument or your theory behind that. Like I would like to listen to, like, respectfully listen to that. But,
and I think it could be like a cultural thing as well. Whereas I guess maybe I don't know if that's changed now, but in Sri Lanka or in like our sort of brown culture, you ask someone out or you get into a relationship with someone with the intention of marrying them. You know that. Like if you don't want to marry that person, then you wouldn't. I mean, it has its that sort of culture has its own pros and cons.
Absolutely.
And I guess when someone asks you to be a girlfriend or a boyfriend, it's given that they're wanting to spend the rest of the life, whether it works out or not.
Yeah,
that's that there's an intention, there's an end sort of
goal.
Goal there. But whereas in, I guess, Western culture, it's not so much the case. But there are people who would spend, like, I don't know, 30 years of their life being in a relationship and get married very later down the track because it's not important. And I find that beautiful as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I know this lady that I worked with at my previous school. She's been with her partner for 26 years. They've got 2 kids and they're not married still, you know. So and she just calls him her husband because she's like what else are we gonna like leave each other now? Like no, you know. And that makes like I understand that as well because it's like you don't need a piece of paper or like the law to get involved to do it. Like if you are truly committed to each other, you know. So.
I mean, if there are no tax benefits, then what's the point?
Yeah,
point really. and I had so one of my previous workmates. So they've also him and his partner. They've been together for a long time, and they're not married, and they don't intend to get married. And then when they're like, well, we've got a mortgage, and I think that's more binding than an actual
100%. I mean, where's the lie?
Like, fair point.
Yeah,
fair point.
Exactly. I mean, it would never go down with our brown parents, like until there's a wedding and there's marriage.
Which look, you know, that's the culture they've grown up, and you know, there's to each their own.
Yeah,
but. And also, the other question is, how do you feel about... So how do you feel about getting your husband's last name? Is that something you want to do? You haven't done it, have you?
No. It was never something that I wanted to do.
You wanted to do?
Yeah, I love this topic because this is something that like, I'm like, you know, I always...
Sticking all the boxes.
Bring it up. I know, because like obviously I have close friends who have all, like most of them have changed their names. But you know what's funny, right? Like I was thinking, so this teacher, I'm on this teacher group, and this teacher had asked about changing names. And because it's really inconvenient, like when you've got, like, especially if you've got a department email, like from the department, it's like your maiden name, and then when you go to change it to your married name, it's like a big process. So she was asking about this, and then like I was reading the comments on it, and I felt like it was mostly like white people here who were kind of pushing her to change her name. And it was the more like and then like there were some other, you know, South American like teachers, international teachers who were just like why do you have to do it kind of thing. And then that got me thinking, because before, like when I moved here, like before, and then when I got married, I remember a few people, like my white friends, asking me like, why haven't you changed your name? Like, why wouldn't you change your name? And then recently, right, like really recently, my teacher aide, we were discussing Ryan's last name because he's got a really long last name.
Oh.
And then she was like, I was like, oh yeah, like he's got a really long last name. And then she's like, so that's your last name as well, right? And I was like, no, why would you assume that? And then her face was literally like, what? So he was okay with that? And I was like, huh? What makes you think that he can have an opinion on my last name? I was like, yeah, of course. Yeah. He was okay with that. He has I never asked him.
He couldn't care less.
Yeah, he actually couldn't. And that's what like I love about Ryan. Like he's literally like, I don't care. Like you want to change your name, change it. You don't want to change it, don't name it. Yeah, he's like...
He's an unbothered king.
He literally is. Like, he's a girl's girl. He's a full girl's girl. Like,
we should have him on the pod.
He's just like, why do you have to change it? Like, you have a really nice last name, and it's your name, it's your identity. Like, don't change it. And,
exactly. I don't think people realize that someone's name has
identity.
a big part.
100%.
That your name plays a big part in your identity.
But then also there's like a few things around it, right? Like that I see. So, like on the flip side of it, not everyone has like a good relationship with their dad, right? So a lot of the times they want to just get rid of their dad's last name because they don't have a good, like, obviously I'm so grateful and thankful that my dad is the love of my life. So obviously I will have his last name. But then also on the other side, I'm like, but that's also patriarchy because it's my dad's last name.
Yeah, I know. It's not your mom's name.
Exactly, right? So that's why I was like, maybe my parents should have given me my mom's last name, like hyphenated it again. But then there's always
where do you stop?
Yeah, where do you stop? Exactly. Where do you stop? Because then it's my grandfather's name. That's just
true. But then there's no question about the kids who the kids would always get the father's last name, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if it's optional now whether you can get the mom.
You can have.
Oh, you
both.
can.
Yeah, you can have. Both.
Yeah,
I know people who can take the mom's last name.
Can you have your mother's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can.
Then. Yeah,
you have to change. Like I don't know what the process is, but I know people.
Well, in Sri Lanka, can you?
I have no idea, honestly. Sri Lanka,
I don't think so.
I know one of my friends has hyphenated her last name and her husband's last name.
Oh, yeah, that can be done, yes.
But
I don't think I think even then, the kids would still get the father's last name, I think, in Sri Lanka.
Which is so unfair. That was actually a podcast. Oh, the Relatables.
I know. They spoke about it.
Yeah, because
you carry the child for 9 months.
Yeah. And I love that, like, two young kids, right? Like, young guys. They were both like, she does all the hard work. She grows this baby for 9 months, goes through postpartum, all this. And then a man just gets to slap his name on there. Like, why is that, okay? Yeah. Which is true, So I feel like there has to be a cooler way of doing this, This is this is not right,
And I think for my sort of I think there's everyone has different reasons for doing it and for not doing it. And I know like plenty of girls who had like as soon as they started dating their partner or their now husband, they've been like, I'm gonna take his last name. That's I love it. I want to do it, and that's one way of me showing my love for him. Or which I mean, I don't necessarily agree, but like you do you, boo. But that's fine.
Exactly.
But I guess my reasoning behind it is that to be honest though, I really like my last name. I really like it.
Absolutely too. But you don't have to justify it though. Even if you had a really annoyingly long last name, it's still yours. Oh no, you have a last name, but it's yours. It's your identity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what you've always had.
And my thing is that yes, it's related to it's my father's name. I agree, but at the same time, I feel like, I mean, not that I've gone to the moon or done something, marvelous or cured cancer or anything. I haven't done much work, but whatever I've achieved in my life, I feel like it's because of that last name. Yeah. It's because of the people behind that last name. It's because the people who gave me that last name has done all the work for me to be here, for me to have done anything or everything that I've done in my life. Those people have done it, and whatever if there's a bachelor of electrical engineering next to my name, that is because of those people, not because of the name that I'm wanting to get. Or
exactly.
And
I think a man should just not have an opinion on that at all. You know what's like another situation, right? Like, so when I was working at a hotel, like. I worked for a while at a hotel. I used to have like couples obviously coming and checking in with me. And I remember this one instance, this guy, like, oh my God. So he came with his partner, like newly married. And she gave me her maiden last name. And he lost his mind at the desk. Like I mean, this is not me. I know, right? This is not me body shaming or anything. He was like this short little, so I think he just had short man syndrome. Like he was like this little guy, like who was just so pretending to be like I'm so like macho or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was just yelling at her in front of all of us, being like, I told you to change your name. Why haven't you? Why are you using this? And I was just standing there like on my computer. I'm like trying to ignore this conversation that's happening here.
Yeah.
And then she was really embarrassed, the poor thing. Like she was like, oh, just stop it. Like it's okay. Like I'll change it. I'll do it. I just want to check in. And he's like, no, you. And it was like a full-blown argument there that like it was really unnecessary, So I'm like, come on, your ego is so
what is
dependent.
that going to prove?
Exactly. And your ego is so dependent on your woman taking your last name. Like, she's not property. She's not a cow. You don't have to stamp her with your last name, So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like men here have more of like an opinion on that from my experience that I've seen than men in Sri Lanka. I feel, but obviously like I haven't really dated much in Sri Lanka, so I don't know. But I feel like here men are very firm about the fact that a woman has to take his last name.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous because like my father has 3 girls. So, I mean, none of them is going to have, well, if you go by the tradition, none of them is going to have his last name. So he's, I guess, I mean, we have other cousins with the last name, but I guess, I don't know, I just really like my last name and I've spent 28 years of my life with that last name and, like all of a sudden, I'm going to be something else.
Yeah.
It's just,
and that's why I feel like that, like obviously that and a lot of other things actually brings about things like, the, like what is it? Like where females, like babies are killed, infanticide in India, because obviously there's no one to carry the name forward.
Oh, yes.
That kind of thing. Yeah. Like, it just brings so much, like, hatred and negativity towards females.
And it's all exactly, involving girls and females.
That's
really.
the thing. And so it's like these little things that contribute to that, because they think that, just because she can't carry your name forward, like, in, like, the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But like, why does it matter? Why does any of this
it's a stupid
matter?
name.
I know. It's like, isn't it more important that you give birth and you bring up a child to be a respectable, decent human being than be more concerned about, like, they could be a serial killer or like be in prison, and that is more important.
Things to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. That's more important to you. Like, come on, common sense.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad we have the same opinions.
I
never doubted you, Shonali.
100%.
I never doubted.
We're one mind, sister. Like, I feel like if we were on different pages, we wouldn't even be able to do a podcast together, because we'll just be fighting all the time.
I think so too. Yeah. But I mean, it's obviously somewhat refreshing to see everyone's different takes on it. But ultimately, I just for me, I don't find it logical to justify such things.
It's not even a question. It was never a question for me. It was never an option. It was always, I will always have my last name, and
what
that's
about
what it is.
What about Ryan's, like, so your in-laws, have they ever asked you about changing?
No, because it's just my mom-in-law, because Ryan's dad died when he was very young. My mom-in-law is like super chill. She has hyphenated her name as well, but she's never questioned.
Oh, queen.
Yeah, she's never questioned me about anything. Like, she knows that I'm very forward thinking about these things, and she's a strong, like, she brought up a child, like a single mom, very strong, independent woman, so absolutely not, never questioned me about it. 100%, none of that. I would have never,
blessing, actually.
I would have never tolerated that anyway. There is no way. So grateful for that.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. And I've never, I guess, discussed any of that, but
I feel like I don't think MJ's mom would ever even.
No, I don't think she would. I think she's like, how do I put, like, she's very different from my mom, but in a good way. Like, I feel like not the complete opposite, I would say, but she's like the biggest. She's so adorable. I love her.
You've mentioned
she's the biggest supporter. Even if I told her like I killed someone, she'd be like, let's fix it.
Yeah.
I will support you. Let's fix it.
That's so cute.
Yeah, she's like the biggest supporter.
But don't kill anyone, please.
Yeah, I know.
I want to keep doing this podcast with you.
And then you can make a, podcast about it with someone else.
I was going to say, I can give you tips on, how to hide the body.
I'll let you know. But no, yeah, she's like the biggest supporter of anything and everything you do, which is like like a little bit opposite to my mom, whereas they both have the best intentions, obviously, whereas my mom's like the sort of biggest sort of criticizer of your work, only because she wants you to do the best and improve. Yeah. Obviously, so that and I'm used to. So I grew up with like having that criticism and always wanting to do the best and always wanting to look the best in your mom's eyes and all of that, which obviously has like obviously helped me. Yeah, exactly. But also having that little all sort of love and soft and affectionate I guess sort of upbringing has also been like I've been shocked, like I've been pleasantly surprised at this, because sometimes MJ would like talk to his mum in a video call and they're not even speaking to each other. His mom's just watching him that's just the most adorable thing.
Oh,
I'm like, gosh. Oh my god, my mom would be like, okay, I'm gonna hang up because I got things to do.
I think my mom's the same. So busy. Like yeah.
But his mom is just like so different in that way, which I think is so cute, adorable. And
oh my god, I want to hug her now. Like, she sounds so cute.
I know, she's like the most soft person, and she's like, she respects your space, but she also, I don't know, it's just, she loves you, and she obviously wants to show. And like, my mom's not someone who's very affectionate, but which is quite a change from for me to when I hang out with and MJ's mom's actually very fun, and like she's very, and my mom's not the type of person to make jokes and do all that. She has her own little fun things, but MJ's mom's actually like, you can have a very fun conversation with her. One time, I think when last year when we went to Sri Lanka, we were at MJ's place, and then he went to meet one of his friends, and I spent like 4 to 5 hours with MJ's mom just talking about her, like, and because I think MJ's father, he worked overseas, and she obviously spent a lot of time, and she got married very young as well, and we were just talking about her experience, and she had MJ when she was quite young, and being by herself, and raising 2 boys, and
she's done such a good job with them.
I know, and then she was talking to me about, she spoke about how she learned driving after she learned to drive after she had both her kids. So just, and she said she had, and she's such a, and this is something I admire, and I think that when I look at her, I'm like, oh, I want to learn that, I want to be like that, because she's such a good friend to all of her friends, and she's like very caring, and she always remembered the tiniest details about people, which I thought was really, I was like, you're an incredible woman. Wow. But and she spoke about how she would have her friend teach her driving, and she would have like baby MJ in the back of the car, and they would like go for
that's so cute.
I know, she's adorable, and she's just she's the most she's very affectionate, and she's very adorable.
That's so cute.
You have to, she's amazing. But and it's just a different I've got different I guess motherly figures now
in your life,
which are both equally important, and which have different strengths
100%,
I guess, but it's just I like the different
absolutely
personalities,
100%.
But no, it's been very fun, so I don't think she'd have any issues.
No, good. I'm glad to hear. So Dash, what was the topic that we were actually going to talk about today?
I think what we wanted to talk about, I guess, is I guess maybe we can do it in the next podcast.
We'll have to, because there's no way.
There's no way we can do it now, but I guess I wanted to talk about like habits and, you know, motivation, discipline. These are the keywords that I want to talk
Right,
about
okay. So
today.
we didn't talk about any of that, did we?
Nothing. I guess it was just another rant. About
Yeah, another. This is what happens, you know, we don't talk for a week and then we just have so much to talk about.
I know. I can't wait to watch that documentary now. But
you should watch it. Please watch it so we can discuss it. But also, we I think before we end the episode, we should mention, because we are so close to 20, we really want to do another Q&A for our 20th episode. So we just thought, like, at the moment, we'll just, every 10 episodes, we'll do a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, we'll obviously put like a community post and on Instagram and stuff. But just ask us any questions and then we can... I know that there are a few questions that we didn't address in our previous Q&A as well. So maybe we can touch on those as well. And if there's anything new, we'd like to talk about that as well, right?
But yeah, it's been an amazing few months. I mean, look, at 19th episode. I think that's massive.
That
and we've been so consistent.
I know. I'm really surprised that we have. But I'm so
I'm
proud of
surprised.
us. Oh.
I know. But I'm also even more surprised that we have had things to talk about for 19 episodes.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love it. This is something that I really look forward to. Like, obviously,
I know
my weeks are so busy and I know yours are the same, but like the fact that we can do this, I just love it. It's just like therapy, like free therapy. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Free therapy, which we can earn from as well.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
So rich.
No, but for real though. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and it's been amazing. And you know, it's one of those creative outlets that you can have after, you know, having a stressful
100%
week. But so we really enjoyed this week's rant as well. So I hope you guys did too.
Yes.
It's been a few very interesting topics. But yeah, hope you have the best week ahead and you take care of yourself, and we hope we can meet you again next week with another interesting, hopefully prepared topic that we can stick to.
No promises, but we'll try.
No promises. We can only try.
Exactly.
All right, guys.
Okay, take care,
have an
everyone.
awesome week. See ya.
Bye.